Hi there YouTube, I am here today with my second video deck tech for Boros Trading Post. So just in case you don't know, Boros is indeed red and white. And I am going to be showing you a deck that will be rotating out here within the next couple weeks with Return to Ravnica coming in. But you know what, we still have a couple weeks, and this is a deck I like to play at my local Friday Night Magic, and the last two Friday Night Magics I have gone 5-0 and 6-1. So you know what, this deck is pretty good. If you love your grindy decks, your decks where you gain an exuberant amount of life, and decks that are just fun to play, you'll love Trading Post. So just in case you don't know what Trading Post is, I'll grab it right here. Trading Post is just an artifact, an extremely awesome artifact I might add, for 4 colorless, and it has a plethora of abilities. Ones where you can discard a card and gain 4 life, you can pay a life to make a 0/1 goat token, you can sacrifice a creature to return an artifact from your graveyard, and you can sack an artifact to return, or you can just sack an artifact to draw a card. Now, in Standard, there aren't that many good sack outlets that aren't pretty much archetype based. Like right now there's, let's see, I don't think there is anything really where you can just sack on demand. What's it called, Mortar Pod. That's about it. I mean, Mortar Pod's the only real good sack outlet, and that's used for zombies. So, I mean, Trading Post is just phenomenal because it gives you responses to people trying to target your stuff. It gives you a sack outlet to just get rid of stuff to do real damage or just do some sort of dying effect. It gives you an outlet if you take their stuff, which I will show you in a little bit. So to start off the deck, we'll start off with this. I am running 3 main board Trading Posts. Now, Trading Post for me is indeed a 4-drop, but and if you ever play it, you should probably play it as a 5-drop. The reason being is because all of its abilities it has all cost 1 colorless. So that means if you're going to play it, you want to be able to do something with it as soon as it comes out, or have a response to it. So that means you can, as soon as it comes out and they try to get rid of it, you can sack it to itself to draw a card. It just kind of neutralizes the spell they just wasted, and it's not hard to get back. Let's start off here with one of the main creatures in this deck, and probably one of the best creatures, Gideon Jura. Gideon is really good in this deck. He takes out aggro-based decks like green-red aggro, blue-white delver, and even black-red zombies, especially in the metagame nowadays, because all those things are just swarming F&M. He basically fogs for you. He takes the heat off your head for a turn. He can swing, he does a lot of damage if he gets through. And he kills a tapped creature, which has a really good synergy with another card I'll show you. For 5, most of the time you'll get him out turn 4. Usually by turn 4 they have some sort of threat out, like a Strangleroot Geist. You can kill once more. You can kill their Drops Messengers, Get Out. They're just their other really big creatures that don't need to be on the board for long. And I run 2 main board. Next is Zealous Conscripts. I run a singleton Zealous Conscripts. I really want to run 2 main board, but I have a bad tendency of drawing him all the time, so I'm just afraid of drawing more than 1 earlier than I need to. Zealous Conscripts is probably the best card in the deck, honestly, because teamed up with Trading Post, you can take whatever it is you want, do whatever you want with it, attack with it, just sit with it for a turn. And then once your turn is almost done, you can just sack whatever it is you took to Trading Post. So if you took a creature, return Wurmcoil back to your hand. If you took an artifact, draw a card. It's really just a slap in the face. That's all a Trading Post and Zealous Conscripts does. It just slaps them in the face. Now, I do run 3 Wurmcoils main board, It was originally 4, but Wurmcoil just has so much recursion in this deck that 4 just overfloods my deck with Wurmcoils, which is a bad thing. Wurmcoil is basically the win condition. You get crazy amounts of life with him. I mean, he's a 12 life swing in a game. You know, if he connects to their face, that's a 12-point life swing. You know, they go down 6, you go up 6. They got to compensate for that. And when he dies, you know, he has a good... He's I think he should be higher than a mythic, honestly. He's just too good. Next, if you've seen my previous deck list I made, was combo Heaven Goal Lich. I ran a playset of Perilous Myrs in it. This one I played 2. I love Perilous Myr. He's a threat on the board to early game. A lot of people don't want to attack and have me block with him because he just kills whatever it is. Because he blocks for 3 damage, pretty much. He's a 1/1 that blocks for 3. That's pretty much it. And in case you don't know, you know, he's a 1/1 for 2. When he dies, he shocks something, which is just 2 damage to a creature or player. I run 2 sad robots or Solemn Simulacrums, main board. He's used just to color correct. He's another body to chump with and draw a card. Most of the time I just chump with him and sack him to a trading post to draw 2 cards, or I'll return an artifact to my hand, like Tumble Magnet or Ichor Wellspring or stuff like that, but we'll get into that in a minute. Then I run 2 Phyrexian Metamorphs. Honestly, I want to run 3 Metamorphs, but there isn't anything I can really take out for it. The Metamorph is just crazy, especially with the recursion in this deck with trading posts, because you can just sack, you know, Solemn or Perilous Myr, or even a creature you just stole to return it back to your hand from your graveyard. So that makes him just ridiculous, and you can keep copying whatever you want, like Wurmcoil or, I don't know, another trading post or their creature. He's mainly in there to deal with Geist of St. Traft, because if they tap out with him turn 3, I'll have mine out turn 3, and Geist is a big deal against this deck. Now for the spells, I run 3 Pristine Talismans. Now, a lot of people have passed up on this card, but honestly, this card is just absolutely ridiculous. If you get this out turn 3, and the way this deck works is it's a really grindy deck. So if Pristine Talisman is on the field for, you know, 15 plus turns, Pristine Talisman is going to gain you 15 plus life every turn. So, I mean, you think about it. I mean, if you're out and you're in a game 15 turns and you die pretty quick, it's probably because you didn't have enough life. Well, Pristine Talisman makes sure you have enough life. Next card is Tumble Magnet. Tumble Magnet hasn't been seen in a while since Black Blue Koldo the Forge Master back in when Zendikar and Worldwake was still in that much, but right now it's just absolutely crazy. In case you didn't see, I do run 3 main board. But Tumble Magnet takes down their threats in the early game. It takes down their creatures during their, you know, before their attack step in case they want to attack with a sword or something like that. It combos off pretty well with Gideon to eliminate their threats like Thrag Tusk and stupid stuff like that. And then, you know, once it's done, you can sack it to trading post to draw a card, put it in the graveyard, and then, you know, sack another creature to return it. I mean, I've had games where I've had 2 Tumble Magnets and Phyrexian Metamorph, and they just stay locked down. They can't attack. I don't let them. I recurrent fast enough that they can't even ever get an attack. So Tumble Magnet just absolutely demolishes decks, aggro-based decks, and decks with not high creature count, like Blue-White Delver. The next card is a Singleton Ichor Wellspring and 3... Singleton Mycosynth Wellspring and 3 Ichor Wellsprings. Now, Mycosynth Wellspring was originally 2, but the way I arranged my lands at the end product, 1 Wellspring was well enough, because it tutors out 2 basic lands, and I only run 13 basic lands, and 2 of them aren't even red, so it doesn't matter. Most of the time it grabs out the 2 planes. Ichor Wellspring in this deck is basically an Ancestral Recall in Standard. I mean, when it comes in, it draws a card. When it dies, I draw a card. And, you know, it usually comes out, and then I sack it a training post. So that means it comes in, I draw a card. At the end of the turn, I draw a card by sacking it. And then when it dies, you know, I draw a card. And then my next turn, I draw a card. So, I mean, that's 4 cards I just drew. 1, 2, this dying 3, and then my turn, I draw a card. So that's 4 cards. Now, a lot of the time I spend just recurring this card because, you know, they can't handle the mass amounts of card draw I have. And, you know, drawing cards in this deck makes me find answers. Like Pillar of Flame. I run 2 Pillar of Flame main board. I don't even feel like I need to run Pillar of Flame. I mean, based against the aggro decks like Strangaroot Geist and stuff like that, I just don't think it's that great. My friend wants me to play it because our metagame here where I live is green-red aggro, pretty much stands out, so if anything, it should probably be another one. 3 Galvanic Blasts. The Metalcraft in this deck is not hard to get. Sometimes it just wins me games, especially if they don't have any life gain. Then, yeah, Galvanic Blast just wins games sometimes. Slagstorm is for the early turn, you know. Goblins is a presence here, so, you know, that well-placed early Slagstorm just demolishes them once they empty their hand. Slagstorm ruins tokens. I run 3 Slagstorms, just in case you can't see that. Slagstorm also I have used to kill Planeswalkers. I have used it to kill Liliana of the Veil. I've used it to kill just Venser against stupid Stonehorn Lock. Day of Judgment's just for that, you know, that crippling moment where if I don't get the Slagstorm, at least I have a Day of Judgment. It is a little harder to get because I only run 6 white sources, 4 cliff tops, and 2 plains, so that makes it a little harder to sometimes get the turn 4, but you know what, it does happen, and last couple times I haven't had trouble trying to get it out. Then for my spot removal, I run a singleton Bonfire of the Damned, my new foil one I just opened from one of my prize packs last weekend, and a singleton Devil's Play. These 2 cards just together just are phenomenal because of how much land I get. I mean, I'll end a game with, you know, 15 plus lands, and a Bonfire for 14 kind of wins the game. Like I said, I run 2 basic plains because I don't feel like I need to run any more than that for how many white sources I need. I run 11 mountains. I always want to make sure I have that mountain in the opening hand for, like, you know, the 1-drop burn spells and Prezealous Conscripts. 3 Phyrexia's Chorus because Phyrexia's Core is another sack outlet to sack your artifacts in case you used your trading post. Run 4 Clifftop Retreats because it's just a red-white dual land and I should probably be running them. Now for my singletons for lands, I run a singleton Buried Ruin just for in case I don't have a creature out and I need to get something back to my hand pretty quick. The Ghost Quarter's good against utility lands like just everything, you know. They don't need to have utility lands, so I'm going to say no with Ghost Quarter. Slayer's Stronghold was my most recent addition. It turns out it's actually really good. I mean, a white and a red for plus 2/0 Vigilance and Haste, it's just ridiculous. Especially on a Perilous Myr or a turn 8 Wurmcoil Engine. So here comes an 8/6 Wurmcoil Engine with Vigilance and Haste. And that pretty much wins games. For my sideboard, I have another Ghost Quarter, just for more like my Moorland Haunt and stuff like that. I run a Manic Vandal against, like, you know, if they're running swords, but I feel like it should be a what's it called? War Priest of Thune, because that's just better. I run another Zealous Conscripts in the sideboard because Zealous Conscripts is just really good. A Day of Judgment, which is more for like the token-based decks, decks with a lot of, you know, that just pump out their hand and say go, like zombies and tokens and goblins and stuff like that. I run another Trading Post in the sideboard for a total of 4. That's my 4th one for control decks. I run 2 Grafdigger's Cages for red-green aggros, zombies, and just other stuff like that. I run 2 Spellskites for against Wolf Run Ramp, other control decks like Solar Flare, and other dumb decks like that. 2 Oblivion Rings for Solar Flare, Delver. I've even played decks where I try to get rid of theirs. Just Titans, just stuff that's just irritating. The 2 Whip Flares in my sideboard I think should actually be more War Priest of Thune, because I have a really big trouble with O-Ring. And I have to sideboard O-Rings to O-Ring O-Rings, and that's just not fun at all. So if you're looking at this and you want to build this, Whip Flare, go away. Get War Priest of Thune. Destroys an enchantment. And then I run 2 Celestial Purges to deal with zombies, and Thunder Maw Hellkite, because, I mean, it's 5 in the air that I can't deal with instantly. So I kind of have to deal with that. Like I said, this deck is very good. It's won me a lot of games. Top 1 and 2 the last 2 weeks. I know it's a little late in the season if you want to build it and get a lot of playtesting, since Return to Ravnica is about to come in. But I guarantee you, if you build it, it'll be so much fun. If you like decks that you have to think about, if you like decks that lock down people, if you like decks that grind out games sometimes, that make you win in the end, this is the deck for you. This deck is my favorite deck of all time that I've built on my own. It's just so much fun to play. It sucks in the mirror match if you get another Trading Post deck, but it happens. So this is me signing off, showing you Boros Trading Post. It's a really fun deck. Have fun playing it.